Hello, hello. We are live. Jarod is back from the dead. Only for a couple of weeks. But now Christmas and everything is over, so I hope we are back to normal and back to practicing. So, do you want to give us kind of a, a shorter version of what's been going on, so I know where we're at?
We're in a very bad place.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we've been binging since the wedding and up until last night, so it's been shit. I feel like crap. I feel like a piece of shit, and that's where I am.
Okay.
I've been dreading this all day.
I'm glad that I can infuse some joy into your life.
I love you, Pam. It's just
Uh,
the idea of facing my castigation, my punishment, not punishment, just I don't know, my humiliation. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, all the things I call it in my head.
the humanness is what we
Mm,
call it.
yeah,
So before the wedding, we were talking about you practicing cravings for 2 days until the wedding. Was that going all right?
no,
No. What happened there?
just actually wait. Oh God, it's so hard to remember. I feel like I did it for a day. Wait, God, let me try to think. God, that seems like forever ago.
It pretty much was.
Yeah. Um. No, I think I just let the bad wolf on the inside take over, and I just said, fuck it. I'm just gonna do whatever. I don't want to. I don't want to do anything in between. I don't want to do half in, half out. So I just decided to go completely in the opposite direction. It's really hard for me to do one or the other. At least that's what I've noticed. It's either I'm practicing all the time and I'm, doing the right thing, or I'm just not doing anything the right way. So, yeah.
Okay, so this is really interesting. I'm just gonna, I think I got this right. So you said, like, it's really hard for me to do anything in between. And then, like, at least that's what I've noticed.
hmm Yeah. That's the
It's
pattern I've
like,
seen.
yeah, but it's like you're not the one in control here. Like, I've
I
noticed
don't
that
feel
it
that
just
way.
happens.
Yeah, I don't feel that. Yeah, exactly.
But rationally, you know that you're in control, right?
Theoretically, sure. Yes. Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Okay. So, where do you want to start? With that, or do you want to start with your inability to get out of the binge that you started after the wedding?
Yeah. Well, it's been the binge since the holidays. It's
Mm.
been way longer than that. It's going on almost a month now. Like
Yeah.
I've been out of practice for almost a month, which is um it's really depressing. So I just feel like I'm stuck now. I feel very low, feel very low self-esteem, feel very just lethargic about everything, and I guess I just want to strategize how to get back on the horse and start practicing again and get back to this whole process.
What does being stuck mean for you?
It feels like not being in control. It feels like the future is very, very bleak. Therefore, should just be hedonistic and just eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow I die type shit. Um, it feels um, just feels very autopilotish. Just go with the flow, stick to familiarity, and yeah, stuff like that.
So everything that you have told me with like what being stuck is actually things that you have control over. You can change the autopilot, and we started doing that, and you were doing great. You're like, the future is bleak. but that's just your thinking. And when you're talking about what you want, who you want to be, the future is not bleak anymore. And you can choose to think those thoughts. What else did we say about being stuck?
I said autopilot, future's bleak. Kind of just like, what's the point? Gonna keep messing up anyway. Gonna keep going around the mountain like I have done a million times.
So what if you answered that question? What's the point?
Well, and the way that I'm thinking about it is, what's the point, is because you're just gonna not be successful anyway. The point.
How do you know that?
I don't know that.
No.
That's what the lizard brain and all that very useful stuff is telling me. I don't know. But
so what is the point?
The point of what we're doing?
I guess so, because you asked the question. You're like, what's the point? What were you referring to?
What's the point of even trying? Because I just fail all the time. Yeah.
So what is the point of trying?
Because if you don't try, then you might as well just throw yourself off a cliff, or just what's the point? Yeah. What's the point in not trying, I guess? It's just excuses, honestly.
It's what your brain does, but like, we want to answer that question, because when your brain's like, what's the point, and you don't have an answer, you're going to be like, yeah, what's the point? I'm totally with your brain.
No, the point is to improve, to get out of this rut, to feel confident about living, to not be living in fear, to reach the best version, to make the best of what I have with what I've been given. Stop being a bitch and stop complaining and moaning and using excuses to continue this behavior and continue this lifestyle.
Yeah, so let's say a year from now, you're actually that person. You're like, no, I'm not listening to the excuses. I'm not bitching about it. I'm actually doing things for me, like taking my life in the direction that I want it to go. What do you imagine that would feel like?
I imagine it would feel a little bit more peaceful. I feel like it would probably feel powerful, because not in a like a dictator or like a deity type of way, but just like a self-ownership type of power. I just feel probably satisfied, or at least a certain level of satisfaction, knowing that I've been doing something so positive for so long, longer than I've done in my entire life. So probably some confidence attached to that. Some probably joy, happiness.
But if we imagine that future, Jarod, you're like, yeah, I do feel really peaceful, powerful, satisfied, feel confident because I know I can do it. I just like joy, happy, whatever. If you ask that version of you, how did you get out of this binge? And why would you want to do that? What would you say?
He would say probably just need to do what you know that you need to do, and get back on the process. no more excuses. There's no more holidays. Valentine's Day is pretty lame. So we're not going to be doing any big family get-togethers for that. But even if there was a get-together, that would just, it shouldn't be a reason to do it again. Let's just get back on the process, I suppose. I don't know. I haven't looked at that version of me in quite some time, so.
Yeah, so maybe we have to ask him a bit more often. Because it's all about where you're choosing to focus. And right now, you're just, oh, the future is bleak. I'm so stuck. All the negative stuff. And then if that's where you want to stay, it's going to be really hard to actually do something about it, because what's the point? That's going to be very valid. But if you can just imagine, like, I have already done it, what would that person tell me to do when that person saw me where I am today? Like, what would my future self tell my current self to do?
I should probably spend a little bit more time with that, yeah.
And that just opens up your brain to actually ask the right questions and find the right answers for you, rather than focusing on everything that is not going to work or probably not going to work, or the doom and gloom part of your brain.
All right.
Because we're always going to have those. It's not like I don't have negative thoughts. I have a lot of negative thoughts. But whenever they come up, I have trained myself to look for the positive thoughts, because they are also there. But most people, they are only seeing the negative thoughts because they haven't trained themselves to actually look at the positive thoughts. And it's not because the positive thoughts aren't there. It's just that we don't choose to actively look at them. And the brain is made to look for problems. And we need to remember that. It will always try to find the problems.
Yeah.
So we always have a choice. When you feel like you're thinking, like you're stuck in that negative thought cycle, like just have a look at the counterpart. There's a concept called like give equal airtime to the positive and the negative, which only means that when you're thinking the negative, think the positive as well. We don't have to get rid of the negative. We just need to think about the positive as well, or the things that are going to help us move in the direction that we want to go. So if you ask yourself questions like, what's the point? Then you want to answer them. You don't want to just ask that question and not answer it, because that's not going to be useful. And if you're like, I'm stuck, okay, let's have a look at that. Is that really true? How can we prove that you're not stuck? Do you have any evidence for that you're not stuck?
That I'm not stuck currently right now. I mean, yeah, because I can technically do whatever I want to. So.
And you're here.
Yeah.
Which I think is a step forward. It's not being stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, facing the music.
Exactly. And just by being here, you're like, I have to answer all these questions, which is also not being stuck.
Yeah. I have to work
and
through
every
this.
day. Sorry?
I said, yeah, I'm having to work through this right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And every day you get to make new decisions. It's not like someone has taken away your ability to make decisions or your right to make decisions.
No, nobody's taken away my free will ability yet.
Yeah. That's a choice that you're making every day. Probably by thinking something like, well, I'll just deal with this next time I see Pim, or I'll start tomorrow, or whatever that excuse is.
Yeah.
So then you're like, free choice? Yeah, I'm going to choose to not deal with this right now. Oh, I'm so stuck. But it's not true. You just chose to do that.
Yep. I mean, that's 100% the truth. Yeah. Just procrastination and apathy and excuses, truthfully.
Hmm. Yeah.
AKA bullshit.
Yes, bullshit.
That's all it is, really.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna buy into this bullshit for now because that's much easier.
Yeah. Feels good, even though it
Hmm.
doesn't.
Exactly.
It's
And I mean,
easier, it's familiar.
yeah, you always have the choice to buy into that bullshit if you want to. But if you're gonna do that, isn't it better to just make the decision and own it? Like, well, I'm just gonna buy into it and it's gonna be okay. Rather than now it's like I'm buying into it and I'm gonna feel like shit because I'm doing it because this is not what I should be doing. And it's like feeling shit on steroids.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of doing these behaviors is to feel good. Might as well not attach a bunch of baggage to it and at least enjoy it, you know?
Exactly. It's like I'm
But
doing
I
this
don't
to
know.
feel better, but sorry.
It's tough though, because I mean, honestly, I mean, I do feel guilty about it because I know that I want to change it. So it's like, I don't know, it's a weird dichotomy of experience.
Why would you choose to feel guilty about it?
I, I don't know if I don't know if I choose it, because if I don't think I choose my feelings. I guess if I don't know how to answer that question.
So what are the thoughts that you're having that makes you feel guilty?
Um, why aren't you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Um, there's always the classic, you're a piece of shit. That's a good one. That's one I'm pretty well versed with. Um, what else? Yeah, just like the ones we already talked about anyway. Like, you're never going to be successful at this anyway, so you might as well just keep doing what you're doing because, yeah, stuff like that.
So if you have the thought, you're a piece of shit,
Yes.
why do we feel guilty when we think that? Because you shouldn't be a piece of shit?
I guess actual pieces of shit don't feel that way because they are just simply pieces of fecal matter and don't have the capacity to feel guilt.
Hmm.
So I suppose it derives from the fact that I know that I could be better and at a level higher than that of a piece of shit. And so yeah, that's probably it. The guilt is, I know I could be better than what I'm doing, but I'm choosing not to.
Hmm.
Slamming my head against the wall for some reason.
So that's pretty
This
much
cowlick
all
is
it
bugging
is.
the shit out of me. Stop it. Lay down. Goddamn. All right.
So you're like, yeah, I'm binging. I could do better and I should do better, and therefore I'm a piece of shit.
Yes. Well, currently it's been binging, sleeping for excess hours, masturbating every day, just all the bad stuff constantly.
Mm.
Watching useless YouTube videos for hours. It's just been pure hedonism and
And if you were to stop all of that right now, what's the worst thing that would happen?
lots of uncomfortable cravings.
Hmm.
That's the absolute worst, and that's not that bad. Bad, but it's manageable. I've done it before.
So what's the problem?
I feel extra this time around. I just feel extra. I'm gonna make up a word. I feel extra addicty this time. I just feel like I'm really holding on to it this time for some reason. Like there's a big fear of missing out or just not wanting to stop. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is this time. It just
I think I
feels.
know what it is.
What do you think it is?
I think you did so well before. You had so many cravings. You actually started feeling like it was easy to do. And then your brain finally got you to binge again. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
haha, we're not going to let you go back. So we're calling in all our friends and we're bringing the heavy artillery and we're just going to do everything that we can to prevent him from going back. So these cravings are just much worse than they usually are because we need to
Mm.
keep him here. That's what I think it is.
It's, seems like a pretty good. Seems like you have a pretty good idea there. Seems pretty right.
It happens to everyone at some point. And it doesn't always end in like a big binge or something, but it's just that, oh my God, I haven't had cravings for months and now I have these super strong cravings. And they just try to convince you to give in again and
I
get you
can't
started.
imagine not having cravings for months. I just can't imagine it. Sounds like a weird, false, weird reality. Yeah, that just doesn't
Mm.
seem. Yeah.
Well, when I say that, you probably do have cravings. Technically, you have cravings. It's just that you don't react to them emotionally at all because they're on autopilot. So when I say not having cravings, that's what I mean.
Okay.
And then it's just going to use everything that you have. You're like, well, I could do a lot, but oh yeah, but you're a piece of shit. Oh fuck it. Yeah, I really am. I should probably be eating some more because that feels better. Are you a piece of shit?
No, but I sure do believe it a lot of the time,
Mm.
which is weird.
Yeah, because you don't know. You know, you didn't even think about it. You're like, no, I'm not a piece of shit. So that's also a thing. Like when you're having these thoughts, you do get to believe them, or you do get to not believe them. You always have that choice. So if you know that your brain is always going to offer up negative thoughts, they're going to keep you in the addiction, they want to sort of get you to engage in that behavior. You also know that you will have positive thoughts that will help you get out of that. Is there a way for you to bring yourself back to reality and the awareness in the moment when you're thinking those things so that you can counter think with the positive thoughts as well? Give that equal airtime.
I feel like something just popped in my head that I should invent a phrase that can, like, you remember that movie Inception? Did you see that movie Inception?
Sounds familiar, but me and movie titles are not friends.
The one with Leonardo DiCaprio where there's like several layers of reality and they like go into dreams and they just keep going into different layers of. Not ringing a bell. It's
I don't
okay.
think so.
So they have some type of machine and they just keep going into like they go into a dream and then in that dream they go into a dream in that dream they go into a dream. So it's very possible for them to lose themselves and think that one reality that they're experiencing is their true reality, but it's not. It's just a dream. So they have different like trinkets that they have to keep them aware that they're not quite. The whole point of what I'm trying to fucking say is just I want to just make a phrase up or make some
Hmm.
type of like a catchphrase to like trigger me to, I don't know, when I'm in the moments of, despair or whatever, but to just get me kind of to break the pattern, break what's going on.
Hmm.
I don't know what that would be yet, but it has to be something pretty damn random and just thought provoking, I would say.
Okay.
like fucktronica or just something, just something completely off the wall that I can just say it, be like, okay, cool, let's just take a second, let's have some fucktronica time, and
Hmm.
look at the other side of the coin for a minute.
I mean, I've used with some clients, it's just like if you have like a rubber band around the wrist or something, you can just like flick it to kind of bring
Yeah,
yourself
I've
back to
done stuff like
reality,
that
that kind of
before.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to probably do that again because that did help. It seemed like it helped when I used to do that,
Yeah.
especially like biting my nails and stuff.
You,
I had a
but
really,
have
really, really red arm for a few weeks, but hey, it's all worth it.
you can move it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't have to
It's like
wear it on the same arm.
I can even out the damage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now you were just talking about making some word up, which is fine, but you could also think about maybe if you can find like a power sentence that feels really good to you that you can connect with, that might work as well. So I have one client, she's totally stuck with, she has a power sentence, which is, I only eat brain food because she doesn't want to develop Alzheimer's. And that
Mm,
really connects with her. So when she sees food that is not brain food, she just reminds herself that I'm not eating brain. I only eat brain food.
mm.
So whatever that would be for you, I mean, that's something that you have to come up with, and that can be your homework.
Yeah. Make a
Journal
power
about that.
phrase.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So either that, or if you find something else, like whatever you just said, that was just a weird word. If that's gonna work, use it. I don't care. Like whatever
Yeah.
works for you. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of other things if you can't find that word. So tell me a bit
I've
more.
kept trying to. I've tried to break this thing quite a few times in the past week or so, and every time I do it, I start by doing a fast. That's
Um,
probably not the right way to do it because it's not been working.
no. So
Because I keep telling myself, oh, I'm gonna do this 3-day fast. I'm gonna clean myself out. Be back on the fucking deal. Blah blah blah. But
and if it works, good. But it doesn't work for you.
no, it's not.
Why not?
I think it's too much of a commitment right now, even though
The
it's really
fast
not.
or the going back on a good diet?
The fast.
Okay. So
At
you're
least that's what
literally
I'm
failing the
saying.
fast and then you're failing with foods that you shouldn't be eating.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So it's a commitment issue.
I think also I keep doing it like I'm in the middle of like the binge or whatever, and then I'm just kind of randomly thinking, okay, maybe today's the day I stop. I don't really like formally plan it. I kind of just like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
time to fast, and then the next food that crosses my path, I'm like, no, it's not time to fast, and it's just
Yeah.
it's very just arbitrary. It's not very structured at all.
So it's like, I
Um,
wish that maybe I could do that because that might work.
yeah. Hmm.
But there's absolutely zero commitment to doing it.
No, it's just kind of willy nilly.
So it's all about the mind. Whatever method you're using, whether you're using a fast to do it, or you just decide to actually allow those cravings, whatever you decide to do, obviously you need to commit to doing that.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
I would love to do it because it just would be a good reset. I feel like it's going to be rough. I don't think it's going to be that rough. I don't really give a shit about having diarrhea. It's not that bad. People complain about it, but I don't know. Just in general, though, just to get my body reset back into like a fat burning mode, it just seems like one of the best ways to do it. But
Mm. And it would be really nice if that could happen without you having to make any effort.
besides just feeling, yeah,
Yeah.
just zero effort. You just live, you just exist, and let time go by. That's it. It's really fasting's very simple. Yeah.
I mean, it is.
But
And
there's a lot
yet
of drama that your
you're not
brain
doing
builds
it.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's that stupid shit.
So the effort for you is up here.
Mm-hmm. And
'Cause
not falling for the deceptions and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you're an experienced faster. You've been fasting a lot. You know what it's like. You know that it's not that hard to do. So the only thing that is in your way is to actually commit to doing that fast.
Yep.
And you
I put
expect
on
yourself
almost
to be hungry, maybe.
because I've almost put on about 20 pounds. No lie. Which I'm not worried about. It'll go away because it's like the 180, 200 thing for me is a very fluctuating deal. I'm not worried about it, but still, like I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to push that. Like I'm starting to get into like new weight gain. Like, so, but yeah.
Yeah, so what do you want to do this week?
I would love to get the fast out of the way and just get back to the deal.
Right? So we still want to do the fast.
Yeah.
How
very
long?
much. I'd love to do 3 days.
Okay. So what's stopping you from starting tomorrow?
Nothing. It sounds fantastic.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna probably. I think the strategy though would be to just probably part of it would be pester the shit out of you for the next 3 days, and just just keep sending you messages if that's
You're more than welcome
and,
to.
Okay. So yeah, that would be that, and from there on, I mean, I'm gonna be feeling a million cravings anyway during the fast, so I'll be back on the horse with that. So.
Mm-hmm. And
And
how
yeah,
are we breaking the fast?
Yeah, that's always tricky. I think I would do I usually eat really heavy and it's just like a nasty blowout in the bathroom, but maybe I'll probably make like a roast and just probably sip on a lot of the broth to start out. And then as the day goes on, just like eat some eggs or something. Maybe not eat any, like, I don't know, something along those lines. Start off with broth at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go from there. Just keep adding stuff in, and then the next day just eat normal, my eggs and ground beef recipes and all that fun stuff I haven't had in a while.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds super simple.
It is. But this guy's gonna change that. This guy's gonna for sure find ways to not make it simple, or at least appear as though it's not simple, even though it is.
So what is it going to tell you, do you think?
What's it gonna tell me? I remember a recent fast I had. I got a headache. It's like big deal. It's a fucking headache, and it was like, oh, you probably need to eat something, and I believed it very, very quickly. It's probably going to tell me, just the same stuff. You're a failure. Why are you doing this? We should probably just enjoy one more meal, eating whatever we want, because you can always start later on.
And why don't we want to do that?
Why don't we want to what?
Start later.
Because I've been starting later for the past like 10 years. So it's like, fuck, either shit or get off the pot. It's the time is now.
And are you going to believe that?
I don't know. I feel like I need to do some type of prep work tonight. need to do some type of writing. I need to do some type of like planning. I don't know how I need to do. Like I need to write down all the excuses and get all the counter arguments, like we kind of did with the boot camp. Something, yeah.
And an option is to just, well, I could start later, but I have already decided to start today.
Right.
That's just the end of discussion. We don't need the drama. I have decided to do it this way. It's not for you, brain, to start arguing with me now. This is what we decided. That's also an option.
Yeah. I don't know why I feel nervous about this whole thing, but I do. Already,
So,
it's stirring in my head.
what are you thinking right now?
I don't know. It's just kind of like a feeling of overwhelmed, which is yeah, that's mostly it. It's just kind of just feels a little overwhelming. Just getting
What's
back onto any of
overwhelming?
this process.
Because what you told
Just,
me is really simple. You're like, I'm starting fasting tomorrow. Then I'm going to feel the cravings during the fast. Then I'm going to break the fast with broth and roast. None of that seems overwhelming to me. So what is it that actually feels overwhelming?
I think it's just I think my brain's already trying to just mess with me because, as you just said, none of that sounds overwhelming at all. It just seems like normal stuff. So I think it's just lies once again, just feelings that I can't control. So I just have to experience them and understand that there's nothing to be overwhelmed about. It's just drama, unnecessary drama that my brain's just trying to throw in the mix.
Yeah, so what thoughts do you think are there right now that makes you feel overwhelmed?
There's not really any thoughts, honestly. It's mostly just feeling.
Okay. So
Because
where do
all the
those feelings
thoughts,
come from?
all the thoughts right now are just like you are just kind of processing what I'm going to be doing, and all of that seems okay.
And then the doubt, like, but maybe you want to eat. Maybe you're going to be hungry. Maybe whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe. So
No.
maybe,
Yeah. Go ahead.
no. So maybe you're just like overwhelmed because of the drama that's going on and not actually about what you have to do.
Right. Yeah. That's probably a more accurate
And I don't
depiction
know,
of what's
you're
really
like,
going on.
maybe I need to sit down tonight and get prepared. Maybe that feels overwhelming. I don't know.
That's probably part of it. Like I'm making more of it than I should, honestly.
I mean, it might be a super good idea to do that, but how could you do this without getting prepared tonight?
Mm, just making the commitment and just forging ahead, like I said.
Yeah, there literally are two things here. The first one is tomorrow we start fasting. The second one is from tomorrow I'm going to start allowing my cravings again. Those are
Right.
the
That's
commitments that you have
yeah.
to make for the next 3 days. You have 3 days to journal about your thoughts. We don't need to do that tonight.
Right.
You have 3 days to prepare for when we're going to break the fast, if we want to prepare for that. It's just like, brain, calm down. We have to do two things. We have to not eat, We have to allow cravings.
Yes. Not rocket science.
How does that feel?
Feels okay. I mean, it's pretty, yeah,
Not overwhelming?
no, not so much anymore.
Yeah. So notice what your brain is doing. It's like, oh my God, we have to do all of these things, otherwise we're going to fail, or whatever. When in reality, if you look at it, it's like super simple.
Yeah,
And
it
you
is.
presented it in a really calm way to me. You're like, yeah, okay. So I'm going to fast for 3 days. I'm going to feel the cravings. And then this is what I'm going to eat when I break the fast. There was no drama there. And then your brain is just like, oh, let's feel overwhelmed now.
Right.
So you just need to start noticing when this is happening. So this is part of the other thing, like when bring your awareness to the moment when you notice that your brain is making up a lot of bullshit, and look at the other side of the coin with whatever, by getting red arms or having your power sentence in place.
Yes. I got to go into the drawer as soon as this is over and get some rubber bands out.
Yeah. So I don't care how you bring yourself to that awareness. But we know that the brain is going to offer up all of this bullshit.
All
It's going to
right.
tell you that it's overwhelming. I have too many cravings. They're too strong. Whatever it might be. It's going to tell you this in the next 3 days or the next week. And what are you going to tell yourself when it does that?
Uh, well, probably snap the rubber band a couple times and use that actual pain to understand that, this is a process that takes sacrifice. It takes feeling uncomfortable, and you guys can chat it up all you want, but I've committed to this process, and you'll get used to it eventually. Stuff like that.
And the funny thing is that you did start getting used to it before.
hmm
And
Even
you
with some
started,
ups and downs, but still, I was still getting used to the process. Yeah.
yeah. And that's again, just your brain, like, okay, we're going to try a little bit harder today. And then it's going to resign a little bit, gather resources, and then it's going to come back and do it again.
Yeah, because I do imagine that. Yeah, I mean, when you really do think about it, it's your brain has to use energy on that stuff, so it's going to tire out eventually.
Yeah. And also when it notices after a while, when you're just allowing cravings and you can feel relaxed, your brain is going to start relaxing about it as well. Because if you're trying to just not give in to your cravings and use willpower, it's a lot of tension there, and that's going to be perceived as stress, obviously. So it's a dangerous situation. So of course you should go and eat it. But when
Right.
you can relax about it and just allow the craving, as you said, it's really strange. When I'm allowing it to be there, it feels much easier to do, because your brain is just like, it's not an emergency. It's actually okay. We're not dying here.
Exactly. Yeah, because we do tend to lose the plot when we're operating in more of a fear-based mindset. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
for sure.
100%.
And when we are in that fear, everything our brain is throwing at us, that's probably true. Because we're not rational thinkers in that moment.
All right.
But with more awareness and more practice, you're going to be noticing when this is happening. And I think that you already have the capacity of noticing as soon as this happens because you have practiced it.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you are doing something that you don't want to do, are, are you actually aware that you're making the decision to do that?
Say that again.
When let's say that you have a craving for some carbs, and then you eat those carbs, are you aware of you making the decision to eat those carbs, or are you unaware of what's actually happening in that moment?
No, I'm pretty damn aware of anytime I do this type of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty clear cut.
So literally, you're already there. You just have to make a different choice.
Right.
That's all. That's all it is. So it might feel hard because you have lots of mind drama, but that's all you have to do. Just choose differently because you already know what's going on. And that feels pretty shitty. Because I remember when I started to actually do that, it was like I can never get away with doing something because I know damn well what I'm doing. And then I started to want to blame myself for doing it. Like, why would I choose to do that when I actually can choose differently?
Right.
And you're a piece of shit will probably follow there somewhere.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, this is what brains do. It's fine. Now we just have to make a different decision next time. So, what made me make this decision this time? We learn from that, and then we come up with a plan for like how we can think, what we can maybe you want to connect to your bigger why in this moment, or whatever you want to do. Something that's going to work for you so that you are able to make the better decision for you. And we need to fail along the way. But what we want to do is just practice getting back on track as quickly as possible and make
Exactly.
the cheat or whatever we want to call it um, as benign as possible. And that was something that happened for me very quickly. Like I noticed when I went off plan, it wasn't like I had ice cream and chips and pizza and cookies and all the things. It was just one thing. And that alone is a huge improvement for me. And for the last
You
couple of
wouldn't go on a binge. You would just go on. You would just eat
no,
something
yeah,
rather small, right?
which was a huge improvement. And you're like, because you are thinking that I'm this all or nothing person,
Right.
that's not happening for you. Because you're still associating like when I'm going off, then I'm gonna be freaking off, and we're gonna have all the things.
Exactly.
And I would like to open up the possibility for you to actually not have all the things if you make a small mistake.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah, you're like, nope.
So what was that process for you? Like, how did you? Because obviously you most likely had issues like me, from what I
Yeah,
gathered from your story.
I think like when I was on binges and eating all the things was actually when I was depriving myself and being on a keto diet with keto treats. It was
Mm,
like, okay, now when I'm off, I want to have all the things that I have craved since last time because I know that I'm going to go
right.
back to onto the diet the next time. But when I started doing this work, I started thinking like, okay, what is it that I really want? I could bring myself back to my goal and be like, okay, I'm satisfied now. I had the ice cream. Doesn't mean that I have to have all the other things. What can I learn from this? And then go back on it.
Right.
So why would you want to continue with the other things? I think it's just a brain error.
Yeah. I mean, every single time I ate it too, I'm like, I literally say to myself, like, this is going to be over in 10 minutes. And then I'm just going to feel shitty. So why am I doing this?
Mm.
What is this?
You tell me.
I guess it's just that it's that feedback loop. It's just a guaranteed payoff. That's why I do it.
But what would be a better guaranteed payoff?
what we're really trying to accomplish. It's just a delayed, guaranteed payoff.
Yes, and also learning from what just happened. I think part of it is that, well, if I continue, then I don't have to look at that right now.
Right.
And we are going to get to the exercise where you are eating something off plan. But first, we need to get you back into what you were doing, because right now, it would just be almost prolonging the binge or making it very hard for you. But
No, I've been doing plenty of off-plan eating. I think we need to cut that out for a while.
yes, but you haven't been learning from it
Right.
or been present when you're doing it. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna do this so we can escape all of that bullshit.
Yep.
So we want to avoid doing things that we can't learn from. So when we're making the mistakes, we want to learn from them, whatever that is. So I'm not encouraging you to make mistakes, but I'm encouraging you to, when you make mistakes, to bring yourself back to being aware of what's happening and actually look at what's going on right now. It can be hard to remember, like you said, when I asked you, like, did you do this for the 2 days before the wedding? You're like, that was such a long time ago, I can't remember. So
Right.
if you can catch yourself in the moment, that's obviously the best thing to do. That's when you have the learning opportunity. So let's say that you are going to screw up, something happens. Why would you want to stop with that thing? Because as soon as you've eaten that thing, you actually have satisfied that craving.
I guess when I do it, I don't feel like it's satisfied, because that's why I binge, because there is never true satisfaction.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a tough one.
I think this is a habit loop that you have. It's like you have triggers, you have thoughts, you get the cravings, you react, and this triggers more eating because your habit loop doesn't finish there. Your habit loop continues
Right.
because that's what you've been practicing.
Yeah, it's just a system. It's just a program I keep running.
Yeah. And you can choose to stop that program at any point. Obviously, we're trying to stop it between the craving and reacting to it. But even if you take it one step further, you still have opportunities to stop it.
Yep. Just interrupting the pattern.
Mm. So if you were to talk to future Jarod now, and you ask him like how did you do it? What would you tell him? Or what would he tell you, rather?
Just embrace the being uncomfortable. That's the only thing that's actually going to help you solve this problem. It's just finally embracing what's uncomfortable to you and just leaning into it, because that's where the growth is.
Mm. And this is true for every area of your life. Like, we're not getting anywhere if we are not being uncomfortable on the way. There's no satisfaction in doing things that are comfortable. Only instant gratification.
Yep.
And I always say this, it's like your willingness to feel uncomfortable is very telling of how successful you're going to be with this process. So maybe you just want to make that a go-to thought, like, I'm committed to feeling uncomfortable no matter what.
Right.
So as much as it's useful for you when you're in the groove and you're like, I'm freaking doing it. I can't even remember. It's like 60 whatever cravings this week and I was allowing them, and that's awesome. Like that's super helpful to you. It's just like we have the other side of the coin, which is super unhelpful to you. So we need to get back to the super helpful. Be willing to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring ourselves back to that if something happens.
Right. Embracing the suck.
Yeah. So, whoops, I had a Dorito. Fine. I'm going to be willing to feel uncomfortable now. Stop this. And have a look at what happened. How come I wasn't willing to feel uncomfortable in that moment when I decided to have this burrito or whatever? What are you thinking?
Just trying to get ready for the process. Honestly, I guess I'm just feel good about it, but it's just, I don't know, just the brain drama. It's already trying to just tell me that, this is not going to work. But I know that it can.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not going to work. You're like, well, we don't know that. It could just as well work.
Yep. Because it has worked before. I have done it. I've done it. So,
yeah. It might not work, but it's also entirely possible that it's going to work.
Yep.
And rationally, you know that you can actually just choose for it to work.
Yeah, that's the biggest comfort in it all is that, I actually have the power to make the outcome that I want happen. Just have to allow it and just do it. Yeah.
And if you're like, I'm committed to feeling uncomfortable, there is no reason why it shouldn't work.
Yeah. Because I am going to feel that. So might as well. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, unless someone comes and really shoves something down your throat, it's going to work.
Right.
So now all that's left is just like embracing that commitment. Like, well, I'm going to feel uncomfortable. That's just what I do. I'm going to feel uncomfortable all freaking week. That's my commitment.
Right.
The rest is just strategy. Fasting is strategy. Allowing those cravings is my strategy to feel uncomfortable. The foods that I'm eating is a strategy for me to get to my goal when it comes to my body composition and my calmness and everything that comes with that. But being uncomfortable is what is going to turn you into that future Jarod.
Right. It's the only way.
Yeah, and it's what's going to help you to actually be the person that you want to be and start a different career that you want to have. Then you can teach this shit to other people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, look at these videos here when I was saying that I'm a piece of shit. Don't think like that. It's not helpful. So are we committed to that?
Yep.
Yep.
100%.
100%. So 2 things then. Homework, you're going to find a phrase or whatever to interrupt. If you want to use a rubber band, I don't care what you use, or a power sentence. Do some journaling around there and try to find something that's going to work for you. And number 2, just commit to being uncomfortable this week in
Right.
every sense, not just
Yes.
with the cravings. If you want to tell someone something, like with the nice sweater, the old man with
Yeah.
a nice sweater, is that's uncomfortable. I'm going to do it because I want to feel more uncomfortableness, because that's going to help me move forward. All of it. Yep,
That's it.
that's it. Good.
That's the game plan.
Okay. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for watching. Sorry we can't answer questions on these streams because we're busy coaching, but you can always hop on the Q&A when I'm doing those on Tuesdays US time or Wednesdays New Zealand, Australia time. So I'll see you next week. Bye.